Welcome to the ATP Projects. You're with your host, Nic and Steve, and you're laughing already.
I'm laughing already. You don't understand people that Steve does funny things before we start the podcast, and it makes me laugh so much I cry, and then he goes straight into the intro while I'm
Where's
still
your
trying
tissue? Show the crowd your
my
tissue.
tissue.
You're doing it already.
I know. You're just so funny, Steve.
That's funny. Oh, I tried to cheer you up before.
Yeah. I wasn't sad, though.
No,
making
you
me
just
laugh
had
at the hell of it.
Yeah, I had my nuts before. It was good. No, my...
Oh, look. Yeah, I know.
Not...
Steve bought in a container of salted nuts.
Yes.
Salted cashews and things, and we've been telling nut jokes all morning.
Oh, I know. It's terrible, isn't it? I know. People now think we're nuts.
Well, that's probably true.
It's funny because today we're talking about, like now we regain our composure. The body goes in and out of cycle, and it always tries to push us back to what we term homeostasis or health, normality, not too high, not too low blood pressure. I went to the gym this morning, blood pressure went up. We're going to go to sleep, blood pressure goes down. So there's a thing we call homeostasis in the human body. And that's kind of what we're talking about today, which is how to keep us in this healthy band. So we're going to be talking about a couple of cool ginsengs, types of ginseng, because there's more than one. There's loads of them. Malaysian ginseng, we've talked about before. Tongkat Ali, Panax ginseng, we've talked about before. We're going to talk about Indian ginseng today and Siberian ginseng.
Yeah. My two favourite ginsengs.
I know.
Well, they're my two favourite.
I like Panax because it's just good for men.
I like Panax, yeah. So Panax is a bit too strong for me.
Malaysian, but Tongkat is my favourite because I'm an old man.
True. Tongkat's pretty good.
And we did a podcast on that, and that was one of the most popular podcasts we did. Probably because what's his name did a podcast on it too, that famous guy.
What's his name?
Yeah, me, Stephen Eddy,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's who it was.
I've got his name. Rogan. Joe Rogan did one. But these two ginsengs are absolutely cool.
They are. Like I said, they're my two favourite adaptogens.
Yes. What did you say? What was that word you used?
Adaptogens.
Adaptogen.
Adaptogen.
What's an adaptogen?
So adaptogen is a compound that helps, as you said, bring the body back to homeostasis.
Right.
So if you're basically modulate. So if you're highly stressed, it helps to calm down your nervous system. And if you're quite flat, it helps to bring it up. So we have different types of adaptogens. We have stimulating, we have calming. Yeah. So depending on where you're sitting, these adaptogens will help to just remodulate that your system and help you sort of be more balanced, basically.
Yes. Now, we had an old product that's not out now, so we can talk about it, called Court RX. And we don't have it anymore, so just if you're listening, we don't have it. But when I used to take it, it used to give me a feeling of good. I'd take some before the podcast, and it would give me a bit more alertness. My wife, she takes it at night after a nurse shift, and she falls asleep.
Yeah.
That's an adaptogen, isn't it?
It is.
It's an adaptogen. Yeah. And an adaptogen restores the normal balance. So like Panax ginseng, that normalises the human physiology. But these two, adaptogens, Siberian ginseng and Indian ginseng, or Eleutherococcus, I can't remember the last name.
Eleutherococcus syncoccus.
Syncoccus, yeah. Got to be careful how you say it.
Got to remember our Latin now, no.
Yeah, I know. There's words in medicine you got to be very careful how do you say. Like we got in trouble for mispronouncing a virus. Can you believe that?
Oh, yes, I know the virus.
Yes. We can't say which virus, but it's common in kids.
Yeah, it is.
It causes hand, foot and mouth disease. Yeah. So Google that, people. I'm not saying the word. No, because we got in trouble. Yeah. But also, but the other ginseng, Indian ginseng, is also known as withania. Yeah. And so
Ashwagandha. It's got
Ashwagandha. Probably Ashwagandha, the Sanskrit name is probably the most common name.
Probably most well known, I think. Yeah.
Ashwagandha.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about types of ashwagandha and extracts and all these sorts of things, and why that's important, why it's not important, why you got to look out for it, what you got to look out for on a. So it's a little bit about how to buy the right herb, not only the right herb, but also the right type of herb.
That's right. Yeah. So quality counts. Quality matters, and form matters.
And we formulate a lot of these products, and we've got a few coming out in the near future. Yeah. But what we do, we don't have to worry about price.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing, because we just sit there and just say we want this.
We
make
our wish list.
Yeah. And then we get beaten down.
Yeah.
No, we don't actually.
We don't. Our products have very good quality ingredients in them.
Yeah. And not just 10 to 1 and all that sort of thing. There's a new type of herb. I won't say which herb and I won't say which product, but I've found the pinnacle of this type of herb. It's a 200 to 1 extract.
Oh, wow.
200, not 20.
God.
Now, when we formulate, we use 10 to 1s a lot, 20 to 1s, water extracts, just the highest quality.
Yeah.
And then there's types of extracts, which are what they call proprietary. So they have a special way to extract all the actives out of it. And so we've got to remember, this contrasts the drugs. Okay, so if I wanted a drug to pep you up, I'd give you an amphetamine.
Yes.
Okay? Now, if you took an amphetamine and I took an amphetamine and Matt, I was saying I took an amphetamine, we'd be pepped up.
We'd be having
a great day. Wouldn't have a great night.
There's no windows in the podcast room. That's all I can say. If that was happening.
A former staff member here didn't take amphetamines, but we accidentally, the guy here, dosed her on caffeine and stimulants one day.
I heard about this story.
Yeah, and she was off her chops and couldn't sleep and all that sort of stuff. That's what, there's medicines that can really pep you up like that. Now, there's also medicines that put you to sleep. If you take lorazepam, temazepam, any other PAM, well, that's they're the benzodiazepines, or the PAM type drugs they call them. You will fall asleep. You won't just get a reaction and pep up. They will knock you out.
Yeah.
They will attach to your GABA receptors and sedate you. So medicine doesn't have an adaptogen.
No.
It doesn't have a modulator. It has things that work against physiological processes in the body. And I'm not saying this is bad, because a Lancet paper was released today and they've just reclassified the first line of treatment for hypertension, high blood pressure, which are beta blockers. Now, beta blockers, the name suggests, block the beta adrenergic receptors to adrenaline. So you will get a drop in blood pressure, even if it's low.
Yes.
However, if you've got high blood pressure, there are herbs that will bring it down. And if you've got low blood pressure and take the same herb, it will bring it up.
Yeah.
Hawthorn is a great one for the cardiovascular system. We don't sell it. We don't have it. We're not promoting it. It's a great herb as an adaptogen because it gives a healthy physiological effect to the blood vessels.
Yeah.
So that's what an adaptogen does. And we usually refer to it in stress.
Yes.
So it helps you adapt to stress. Yet, if you took it in the morning, it will help pep you up and give you a normal response. And Indian ginseng, getting onto that one now, you can take that in the morning and the night. And a future products of ours, we won't give away too much.
No.
But it has that herb.
It does.
In the morning and night.
In the night, yeah.
And it's like, how does that work? Does it help you sleep or does it help you wake up?
That's right.
Both.
Yeah.
And there's evidence for both of it. Now, we're going to talk about just two of these ginsengs. That's one of them. And we'll talk about Siberian ginseng, which is a really interesting herb.
It's a really interesting, one of my favourites, and it's not widely used.
Yes.
And we really love this herb. So,
let's just start with Siberian ginseng. It's an adaptogen.
Yeah, it is.
What does it do in the body? Like, what are some of the things that you use it for in the clinic, and what's it been shown to do?
So a lot of things I used to use it for. To be honest, I don't use it as much as I would use withania or Indian ginseng, but usually for exercise. People who have a lot of debility around exercise. So if they're struggling with their fatigue around exercise, that sort of thing, it's really good for that. The Russians were all over this in, what Olympics was it when the Russians started using it for their athletes?
1980s, I think it was. But even before that, they were using steroids. But
apart from that.
but this is a legal thing. It's WADA approved. So But this. Yeah, the Russians were using this quite secretively because it's called Siberian ginseng for a reason.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not called Australian ginseng.
No.
We don't have an Australian ginseng, do we?
No, we don't need
it. Sucks a bit.
It does suck a bit.
But this one is really good because it does normalise, but also it's really particularly good for athletic performance.
Very good for athletic performance,
So with regards to athletic performance, who would you sort of look? Who would you give this to? What sort of person are you looking at?
Across the board, I would give it to generally stressed people who are quite flat. So I would give it that. People who do exercise, I would give it, or athletes. I also give it to people who have low immune systems because it's an immune stimulant.
It's an amazing immune stimulant, and you've just kid across the paper here. I'm going to read the paper out. Because people think that naturopaths don't look at evidence. We were just joking about that.
We were just talking about some famous person.
Oh, God,
said that's
I
the
pick up
case.
paper. Look at the freaking title of it. It's like an essay. Advances in the extraction, purification, structural characteristics and biological activities of Siberian ginseng polysaccharides, a promising medicinal and edible resource with development value. That's the title of this journal. Can you believe it's Frontiers in Pharmacology, so it's a real review paper. Yeah. And it talks about it. It's got one of those little charts that I love. Now it's got,
I like those.
Yeah, it's got a little
charts.
diagram what it does. Now you said it boosts the immune system. Absolutely, it does.
Yeah.
And it's got immunoregulatory activity. Now, I think you said in the last podcast, the inflammation is basically an immune activation.
Yeah.
So we just mentioned Siberian ginseng activates the immune system. So you'd think it'd activate inflammation as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would.
No, it reduces inflammation.
Reduces it.
So it boosts the immune system while reducing the inflammation.
Yeah.
Because it inhibits COX-2. It's an anti-inflammatory.
It is.
So we've got this nifty immune thing that boosts the immune system and also has anti-tumour activity.
It does have anti-tumour activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
And usually when you get when you get immune activation, you get a lot of free radicals because the immune cells kill bacterial cells by spurting out free radicals.
Yep.
This is an antioxidant as well.
It is. I know. It's an antioxidant.
Yep.
So great for post-viral infections and things like that. So that really wipe people out. Very good for that. Fatigue, as we said.
Yep.
Mild depression. It's actually been used in mild depression as well. And it's also very good for lymphatic flow.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't
very
know
good
that.
for edema. So, particularly lower limb edema, which we were talking about in our last podcast.
We were talking about
edema.
it. Some girls got it in the office.
Some girls got it in the office, exactly. And interestingly, we just did a podcast on histamines. It also helps to inhibit mast cell degranulation. Therefore, it helps inhibit histamine.
For those slack asses, what's a mast cell? For the one who didn't listen last week.
So go back, it's probably out now. Go back and listen to the, we're now going to have to put it out early now, Matt. A mast cell. So a mast cell basically is involved in our immune system and inflammatory, that type of thing. So it has over 200 inflammatory markers, inflammatory chemicals, and it basically, when it degranulates, it sends all these little inflammatory markers out to deal with the inflammation, basically. And histamines are one of those that a lot of people have issues with. So if you haven't listened to the histamine podcast, go back and listen to that. But Siberian ginseng can actually inhibit that degranulation. So very good for allergic issues as well, allergies, that type of thing, and then your edema, that type of thing. So really good
Can
for
I
that.
give you another thing? Yes, it helps the lymphatic system. It also improves microcirculation.
Yeah, how great is that? Actually,
That's
I love
good
that.
because, and it does contain active ingredients, the flavonoids such as quercetin, it contains rutin and hypericide, which is another bioflavonoid. So this is a really cool sort of medicine. It's also got trace elements, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, iron, variety of amino acids. I'm just reading for this paper. But microcirculation, it's also good for the central nervous system for the brain.
Yes.
Reduces cortisol if taken in the evening. If taken in the morning, boosts cortisol.
How good stuff.
Can you believe that?
I know.
That's like, hang on a sec, is it anti or pro cortisol? I say, well, what does your body need?
Yeah, there you go. So here you go. Here's another one. It's very similar to that. So it reduces blood glucose levels and adrenal hypoglycemia. And it increases insulin-induced hypoglycemia. So it helps when your blood sugar's low and it helps when your blood sugar's high to normalise both of them.
Unbelievable. Because if I gave you a shot of insulin now, too much, you're dead. But it would drop your blood sugar level dramatically.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. And this is what this is. And again, for those who are wondering, I'm reading from a medical paper. Absolutely incredible. It stabilises. Oh, you said that, mast cells.
Mast cells.
Yeah, it's really good. So I mean, we've got lots of things. I'll give you some other things it does. Polysaccharides in it have demonstrated good therapeutic effects against tumours, hyperlipidemia. So it helps reduce cholesterol. Very good for, as you mentioned, diabetes and hypertensive diseases. So it sort of acts as a stimulant without increasing your blood pressure. In fact, can reduce it if it's high.
Yeah.
I mean, this is,
isn't it?
You got to remember, I've spoken to my father-in-law who's a medical GP, and there's nothing like this in medicine.
No.
And again, we're not having a go. This is how nature works, and you can consume this guy long term.
Yep. Yes,
it has, as I said, anti-human, but also in 2018 it was as you correctly pointed out, it's antiviral as well. And I love this statement: anti-fatigue.
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 I love it.
So, as you said, post-viral syndrome. If you've got a virus that's knocked you around and you're absolutely fatigued, this will normalise the inflammation that's usually associated with that, boost the immune system, antiviral, anti-fatigue, normalise blood sugar levels. I mean, this is a great thing to have if you've had a terrible virus.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. So, and it obviously helps with moving that lymph, so it moves those toxins out of the body as well.
Yeah,
so lymphatic flow is not driven by muscles.
Yep.
Driven by contractions, but this can actually help to flush that lymph out as well, or the toxins in the lymph, and that's involved with that the cancer cells as well. Because they check lymph when people have cancer to see if there's some of the cancer cells can be in the lymph as well. So very good for that. It's just I love it. I mean, it's like I said, it's not used a lot these days, but it should be utilised more because I used to use it quite a bit. I used it a lot when I was training. I found that really good for that sort of stress-induced, exercise-induced stress. So I found that really good for that as well. So, I just love it.
I love it. I mean, you've got some great indications here. One of them I'm going to sort of ask you about is avoid during acute phase of infections. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Why should we avoid during an acute infection?
Because when you've got an acute infection, obviously your immune system's overstimulating. It's trying to get rid of the infection, so it's hyperstimulated. So if you put in Siberian ginseng, it's going to then stimulate that a little bit more. Yep. So then it can be hyperstimulated. So you want to avoid it just in that very initial stages of a virus. But when you've got over it, and if you're feeling quite debilitated from that virus, it's the perfect time to put this in.
Yep. Absolutely amazing. Now, okay, so let's say you're a healthy Joe Six-Pack and you just want to get more out of your exercise.
Yeah, this is a great one, this study.
This is a great study. Yeah. This is a human study, and I'll just read the title of it for those who are following on at home. It's a long one again. The effects of 8 weeks of supplementation with Siberian ginseng on endurance capacity and metabolism in humans. The numbers are phenomenal. What happened with this study?
Oh, this is great. So, or you can go into it, Steve. Because
they got 9 people who were trained males in college, and they consumed it or a placebo. So it was a double-blind, randomised, placebo-controlled, and crossover design with washout. That means it's a very strong piece of evidence. Yeah. So they compared it to a placebo. They didn't know they were taking it. Double-blind means the person giving them didn't know what they were giving them.
Yeah.
Randomised means it was made sure the groups were even across the board. And there was also crossover. So in other words, they gave one group and then they swapped them over halfway through the trial and just measured their output. And the numbers here are absolutely phenomenal. The major finding of the study was that the VO2 peak of the subject elevated by 12% and endurance time improved by 23%.
That's huge, isn't it? 23%.
And the highest heart rate increased by 4%, so you could actually get more out of your heart.
Yeah.
They also found the second finding was that 30 minutes of 75% VO2 peak cycling, the production of plasma fatty acids was increased and the glucose level was decreased. So this kind of shows you that it improves your endurance activity, your fitness and everything while burning more fat and while sparing your glucose.
Yeah.
So you're actually telling the body via Siberian ginseng to burn more fat.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want that?
I know. How good is it? And the interesting thing with a lot of these studies that we looked at too, the higher the dose, the less effective it became. Yeah. So you don't even need to high dose it. It's not a high dose herb. So I thought that was really good because obviously it became they sort of plateaued with their with the results the higher they went. So lower dose herb, which is great as well. You don't need as much of it for a good effect.
No, this was 800 milligrams a day, which is not much.
That's right.
So I mean, this is a pretty good trial. Look, there's not a lot of people, but I'll tell you what, the amazing on the capacity. Yeah. I mean, absolutely incredible. I mean, it's just really good herb for, like, I'll paint a picture for you. If someone who is, sluggish in the morning, wants more out of exercise, has some sort of post-viral syndrome or a shitty immune system, or somebody who just is suffering sort of, to trying to help lose weight. This would be great for you.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
It relieves fatigue, so you feel like exercising more. You can get more exercise done.
Yep.
You can improve your cardiovascular system and burn more fat.
Yep, helps with your allergies. So if you do have
allergies too.
Exercise-induced histamine issues, it can be good for that as well. So there's that issue. So, yeah.
I mean, it's an incredible herb to take all day, every day, really.
Yeah, no, like I said, I love it. It should be used more.
Yeah. Oh, it's got a side effect of being anti-cancer as well.
But yeah, anti-cancer is quite a good study in there we've got on that.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, it was on colon cancer, which is one of the most common cancers.
Yeah.
And different lines of cancer because there's different lines. And so this is really an incredible adaptogen.
Yeah, stimulates DNA synthesis, cellular repair enzymes, antioxidant activity, as you said.
Yep.
There you go. This is a good one, Steve.
Yeah, what's that?
This is a study. It increases the reproductive capacity and sperm counts in bulls.
Really?
Yeah. So if it does that in bulls, what's it doing people?
Well, yeah, I don't want to increase my sperm count. I don't want kids. Jeez.
No. Well,
that's a bad idea. No, you watch the emails coming out of that.
Coming out of that.
No, but seriously, if you're say you're a couple and the guy's stressed and can't sleep and all this crap and fatigued and sick from this and that, this would be a great addition.
Yeah, really.
Especially if you're trying to have a family.
Yeah.
Very good for you too.
Yeah. Well, any adaptogen is very good, because when you're trying to have a family and there's a lot of stress involved if it's not happening. So getting those adaptogens in there stops that sort of stress response, which then impacts your fertility anyway.
Oh,
so
yeah. And if you've got some sort of
calm as, good balanced nervous system is important.
I find it quite incredibly. It's got, the biological activities in this paper that I read out before, the big long name. It's got anti-tumour activity against anti-lung, anti-liver cancer, and other anti-cancer effects. Immunoregulatory action, you never see that word too often. You see immunosuppression or but this is immunoregulatory activity.
Yep.
Anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, just extraordinarily good for the human body in many, many ways. And look at all the studies there.
I know.
It just goes on forever.
There's a lot of studies. We couldn't read them all out.
It's 3 pages, immunomodulatory. And what I love about the when I was flicking through them, it showed that it increased T helper 1 and reduced T helper 2. But in people with T helper 1 dominance, reduced it.
Yep.
It's like, hang on. Which way to do it? It does both. They give, there's loads of animal studies in here too where they give them leukemia, for example. It's anti-leukemia.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes on forever. So I love about this one. But this is still not my favourite herb of these two. I love it.
Yeah.
But I love the other one more.
I think I love the other one more as well. But like I said, I used to put these two together a lot in the mix.
Oh, yeah.
All the time because they were my two favourite adaptogens and really, really good for that stress response for so many different reasons. But this other one, the Withania or the Ashwagandha or the Indian Ginseng, however we want to say it.
It's got other names too. It's got winter cherry.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the names of these things.
Yeah. Shavgandha. Is that how you say it? It's obviously Ayurvedic.
Yeah. Yep, that's Ayurvedic, yep.
So Withania, this is have to be one of my favourites.
Yeah, this is my favourite and I love it because, we've got a brief summary of what it does here. But what we need to talk about is not all
Withanias are created equal.
I was going to quote Martin Luther King.
I don't know.
All men are created equal. We held these truths to be self-evident. I can't remember.
Steve.
It was 1960-something that he spoke about. So Withanias, not all of them are created equal.
No.
Like you can get some for $10.
Yeah.
And this is the magic herb, but it's not.
No.
It's probably just dried root.
It's probably maybe 1% Withania, 99% dirt, dust.
Oh, yeah, there is that too. So there's also what we call proprietary blends. Now, proprietary blend's got a bad name because it sort of says, does that mean we don't know what's in it? No. When you extract a herb a certain way, you can actually patent that way of extracting a herb.
Yeah.
So it's like special processes, not much heat, all the special solvents to get it out, non-toxic ones, because you can get actives from herbs by alcohol or by water or both.
Yeah.
And mostly they're both.
Yeah.
and then you draw the water away from it. You take the fibre out. You only use the part that's required. In this case, it's the root. And there is an extract type called KSM66. And you might go, what the hell is that? Well, that extract is probably one of the most tested forms of ashwagandha.
Yeah.
And it's got so many studies on it now. And I'm going to read you a couple, and I'm going to contradict myself.
Ooh,
in a way.
Controversy.
A little bit. Well, it won't be now you know what an adaptogen is. But the first thing I want to say, and this goes for anyone, is that it's extraordinarily good, this extract, particularly for treating stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
So if you've suffer from any stress or any anxiety, this would be good. And it has to be this form because this is a form that was tested in this particular study. And it's called a prospective randomized double-blind placebo-controlled study, the safety and efficacy of high concentration full spectrum extract of ashwagandha root in reducing stress and anxiety in adults. Now, I love this. And they gave them, the treatment group was given the ashwagandha, obviously the KSM66 firm, and they assessed the reduction in anxiety. And you know when you get those significant numbers and you got the P value and all that shit?
Yes.
And it's got to be less than P05. That means that there's only a 5% chance that this was by chance, these results. Yeah. So the lower that number, the P value, the better.
Yeah.
The end of this study had a P value of less than 0.0001.
Wow.
So the results are highly significant. That's an understatement. So there were no serious adverse effects. And the conclusion was that the findings of this study suggested high concentration, full spectrum KSM66 ashwagandha root safely and effectively reduces the individual's resistance towards stress and thereby improves the self-assessed quality of life because they assess their quality of life. Now, you've got to remember that the best way to get rid of stress is to try and eliminate the stress.
That's right.
Okay? If you've got a partner, get rid of them. There's my marital advice. But
Steve over here.
Yeah, exactly. Come to me for advice. I'll sort you. Yeah. I did 6 months of counselling.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
I know. It wasn't my highlight of the career of education.
I can understand why you've only done 6 months. I can see why that you've only done 6 months, actually.
We all learn about the id, the super id, and the ego and all that crap from what's his name? Freud and Carl Jung and all that. That's what we learned about. It's like, I don't agree with any of those guys. No. Probably way smarter than I, of course they are. But I just thought, is this really relevant?
Yeah.
But anyway. But
moving on.
I want to, let's move on to another topic.
Yeah.
Sperm.
Oh, even better.
Can we talk about sperm?
Let's talk about sperm.
Great. All right. Okay. I don't. Do you want to talk about this?
Breaking then, Steve.
I know it's not the most.
It's the most. Yeah.
I don't like talking about guy stuff.
It's just, but you're a guy, Steve.
Yeah, I know, but it's sperm.
You're the expert on that subject.
Oh God, jeez.
About being a guy, I mean. Not about sperm.
I'm not an expert on sperm. But let's say you wanted more sperm, right? You wanted to produce more sperm.
I definitely don't want
we're being hypothetical here.
Cool.
You want more sperm, I can get you more sperm. You want to know how?
We're talking to the cameras right now.
I know, we're talking to the cameras. I'm not looking at Nick here.
Not looking at me.
But if you give this type of, KSM66 ashwagandha to a guy, a real guy, who's still got the twig and berries. I don't know what's the polite way of saying.
I don't know.
But let's say that. Well, there was a study done, and they gave it to guys with low sperm count.
Yeah.
And their sperm increased by a percentage. Now I'm going to give you a multiple choice question. So if you play along at home,
I'm not going to look at the paper, Steve.
Did it increase? Did it increase by 10%, 15, 30, or 167%?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to have to go with D because you always go with
You can't believe you said that. Are we going to have to edit that? You're going to have to go with D, are you?
I'm going to have to go with your final answer, Steve.
Which was what letter?
The one after C. I've got my cry tissue out.
Oh, no.
I knew it was going to come
Where's
out.
my tissue? I'm going to cry too. I'm crying because of the emails we're going to get. You're mildly inappropriate.
This has really gone in a different direction than we had planned. But yeah.
Well, it's C or D, isn't it?
I'm going to say it was the highest percentage, Steve. Am I right?
So you're going to go with the D.
I'm going to go with 100 and what was it? I'm completely lost. 160 something percent, was it, Steve?
167%.
Wow, that's massive, isn't it?
It's massive. It's a massive letter D. Let me tell you.
Jeez. Okay, there'll be some editing going on here.
But the sperm count increased by 167%.
That's crazy, isn't it?
From 9 million per mil to 25 million per mil of sperm.
Wow. Don't read the next bit.
What did you say? I didn't even understand that.
Don't read the next part. We don't need to know the next part.
We have to read the next part. It's part of the result.
Okay, read the next
Now,
part.
did you want more volume of sperm?
Clearly, I did not look at these papers before we came in here.
This is scientific
I know,
discussion.
it's scientific. Get serious, Steve.
You're crying again.
We're trying to keep it serious here. You keep going off track.
Well, if you want more voluminous sperm,
Yes.
okay, just if you hypothetically want more volume, it increased the volume by 1 mil. Went from 1.7 mil to 2.7 mil of sperm.
Wow.
That's better than 1.7.
That is better than 1.7.
More the merrier, as far as I'm concerned.
That's right.
So if you take
It's fault.
Your tear ducts are very loose, aren't they?
Sorry. Yeah. Keep.
It's hard to look at you when you're crying.
I'm sorry. I'm crying because I'm just.
You know, I'm going to get emails. Can't believe you made Nick cry in a podcast.
I know. Steve's making me cry.
That's awful, isn't it?
There'll be all sorts of reports going on now.
So you're going to get more sperm per mil and more mils of sperm.
Yes.
I mean, that's
pretty good, particularly if you're interested in fertility.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
I know. It's what you want. You want more of it and you want the more quality.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty remarkable if you want more sperm.
That's great. What's another study you've got there, Steve?
No, we're still on the sperm study. I'm sorry, we've got one more.
Okay, go.
Do you want the little swimmers to swim slow or swim fast?
Oh, well, everyone wants to win the race, don't they?
This increases sperm motility.
So
you get faster sperm. It goes from a speed of 18 to a speed of 29.
Wow, that's a big jump.
So you get more swimmers, more volume of swimmers, and more speedy swimmers.
That's everything you want.
Don't make me cry. Can we swap over?
Can we?
The next study.
Let's go the next. Can we move on?
All right, good. This is a bit more. I'll skip to this one and we'll go back to that one.
Yeah.
Because if I take it, because this sounds like a real male herb.
Yes.
And what we find is that when you take this, you get a boost of your testosterone, muscle strength, and recovery. How cool is that?
That's really good.
That's good for old men like me. So you'll find that let's say you're doing a bench press, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so after certain exercises, the placebo groups, they did a placebo-controlled trial, randomized trial, and they wanted to give you strength. So after a few weeks, they gave one group ashwagandha and one group the placebo. The placebo group, after their exercise, increased bench press by 26 kilos. So that's pretty good.
That's huge, isn't it?
Well, it's not as huge as the next thing I'm going to give you.
Okay.
Number.
Okay. Yes. Number. Give me a number.
All right. 26 for the placebo group.
Yep.
46 for ashwagandha.
Really?
46 kilo increase in bench strength. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's actually is quite amazing, isn't it?
Oh, you sound surprised.
I am surprised.
Now, this was published in the Journal of International Science of Sports Nutrition, so it's a randomized controlled trial.
Reputable.
Very reputable.
Yep.
Now, leg extension, it boosts that too. Okay, so you got that as well. It also gives you greater muscle size, increase in the arms. The placebo group increased their arm size by 5.3 centimetres, which is good.
Big. That's a lot. 5 centimetres is quite big.
And what about ashwagandha's? 8.6.
Wow. So an extra 3% on top, 3 centimetres on top of that. That's
chest increased 1.4 to 3.3 with ashwagandha.
Wow.
So and also the soreness. You get that crappy soreness afterwards. Ashwagandha reduces the muscle soreness.
Wow.
And also there is a chemical measure for muscle damage. And, of course, weirdly with this one, what you want is you want a bit more muscle damage so you can get more recovery.
Yeah.
Ashwagandha improves that too.
Wow, look at that.
But this is where the piece de resistance is.
Okay.
That
I like that. It's very French.
That's very French, isn't it? All right. So let's say you're measuring testosterone. You get increases of 18 nanograms per deciliter with placebo group. With ashwagandha, you get increases of 96.2.
Wow. That's amazing, isn't it?
That is
I actually am shocked. I actually have not read these studies, so I am actually quite impressed.
You know that guy that used to sell the steak knives on TV?
With one of the men.
You know, it said, but wait, there's
There's
more?
more, yeah.
There is more.
Oh, God, can there
You
be
ready?
more?
Same study,
Okay,
same
go.
published.
Go.
What about body fat? Who wants to lose body fat?
No, everybody.
Well, when you
like a lot of
exercise
people.
with the placebo, you get 1.5% body fat drop, which is good. Ashwagandha, 3.5% body
Wow,
fat.
Wow, that's great. isn't it?
Don't you love it?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And of course, you know, the study conclusion says that it's just absolutely damn brilliant. Okay. Now, let's say you're not into the gym, but you like running and exercising, you're
Yes.
jogging along. Is it good for that? You bet.
Yep.
You bet.
Yep.
And you're going to love this. There was a greater increase from baseline in the mean VO2 max with the KSM 66 ashwagandha compared to the placebo. And you know the p-values?
What is it?
Less than 0.001.
Wow.
Incredible, isn't it?
That's good, isn't it?
It really does help you with cardiovascular exercise. So I don't give a shit what exercise you do. This will be good for you.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
screw your sperm. We're going. So you can see this is a real male herb, isn't it?
I mean, traditionally in herbally, it is considered a male herb,
Yeah.
but there is lots of benefits for females.
Well, what would happen if you give it to a chick?
Do you want me to read this study or no? I don't go on to.
Go on, do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
you read this one. This one's not one I want to. Yeah. Actually, you please read this study.
Should we
I'll
read
read the
this
title of
study
it,
out?
and you can talk about it because this is awkward. KSM 66 ashwagandha for female sexual function. And this is the efficacy and safety of ashwagandha root in improving sexual function in women. Okay, so what does it do for women?
Okay. So I can just read the conclusion, jump straight to the conclusion, Steve.
Well, there's the numbers, the description throughout the results there, if you want to read what it does specifically for women.
Okay, so what it actually does specifically for women in comparison relative to the placebo.
Yep.
Well, the P score
Yep.
for arousal,
Right.
lubrication,
Yep.
and orgasm.
Ooh.
So lubrication and arousal. I'm so sorry. I did not know we were going to go down these routes today.
Nick, we're going to have to cut that out too.
So sorry.
Oh my God.
Go down this track. I didn't realize we were going to go down this track. For arousal and lubrication, it was 0.001
Right.
P score.
So you get way more aroused,
Yep.
way more.
Yep.
Yep,
And for the
and-
next, and the orgasm was 0.004.
So you get better
still
orgasms.
Better orgasms. Yeah.
I
And
know.
satisfaction, again, 0.001.
Wow.
And
That
the rest
is-
will leave that rest
yeah,
of
the
that
less
alone.
of it.
Yeah.
So it also, there is one you skipped over.
I know, I skipped over that.
The number-
Right one. Steve, I did that purposely.
I don't even know how to
Read the room,
quantify this, but the number of successful sexual encounters improved.
Yes.
So women had more sex.
Yes. Yeah. So
Ashwagandha gets you.
anyway, let's just say that women is a very good herb for women also. So just looking at Matt's thinking, wow, I've got some heavy
I didn't
editing to
write the
do
damn
here.
study. We're just,
I did
we're
not
gonna-
know. I promise I did not look at these studies before
You
we
didn't
came
look
in.
at them.
I
You
didn't.
purposely said, I want to talk about
No, I
female
did
sexual.
not.
When you said,
Do not
you put
throw
your
me
finger in
under
your
the
tap
bus,
there, you
Steve.
said, I want to talk about lubrication in women.
You're evil, Steve. You're evil. All right.
Oh God.
Let's move on.
Can we get to a more medical one? Oh, okay. Well, we'll do the next one here. This is a good one. I can talk about this one.
Okay.
Okay. What are the two biggest complaints in life? People are overweight and stressed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The title of this study, basically, the KSM 66, which is all these studies are on that extract,
Yep.
is great for reducing stress and burning fat. That's what the next
that?
study is. Body weight management in adults under chronic stress through treatment with ashwagandha root. The double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled study, another study again. So what they did was they got these people who were stressed and overweight.
Yeah.
It's about everybody, isn't it? It's approximately everybody.
It is.
And what they did was they placebo-controlled trial. So they just said, here, take this. We don't know what it is. And you take this. We don't know what it is. And the placebo group. And they found that they lost weight and had a better perceived of stress. But better than that, they had a reduction in what they called uncontrolled and emotional eating behaviour compared to a placebo group.
Oh, there you go.
So, when you struggle with your diet and you can't eat what this sort of stuff. So really, really improved. And the way it improved, the mechanism, that it reduced, because these people are stressed, cortisol levels are high. Compared to the placebo, it dropped it by 22%.
Oh, that's huge, isn't it?
So, if you're stressed and overeating because of it, it's absolutely incredible.
Well, talking about a weight loss.
Yeah.
So it also is a TSH stimulant. So
What's TSH?
Improves TSH. So thyroid stimulating hormone.
Yep.
It's been shown to increase those levels as well.
Yep.
So I've got a little bit of a study here.
Yeah,
so,
you can read from the bottom. That study.
This one's
you got
online.
another one.
The other paper, Steve.
Okay. Go for it.
So they had a little study. They had 50 patients with elevated levels of serum thyroid stimulating hormone between the age of 18 and 50. And then they were randomised to receive either 300 milligrams of withania root twice a day or placebo for 8 weeks. So the results showed that the withania was able to reduce the serum TSH. So remember, we want TSH to be lower, not higher. By 17% and increased T3 and T4 levels by 42 and 20% respectively.
Wow.
So that's actually a huge jump, particularly for your T3 and T4. So very good for thyroid. I've used it for thyroid in the past. So really good for thyroid. So there you go. Obviously,
it's really good for people with thyroid disorders. And that will help with your weight loss and your moods as well.
Yeah.
So that could be a mechanism by which it's helping you. But isn't that fascinating that it reduced the TSH, and these are this study that we're talking about is in subclinical hypothyroid, which a lot of people have. Not overt.
Most people I see are subclinical.
Yeah, which means they're on the borderline. They're kind of, they've got low thyroid, but it's not, ridiculously, needs medical intervention. These are the people that are on the edge.
Yeah.
Which is quite incredible. I probably. Probably the one study that I get a lot out of with this ashwagandha extract is the effect it has on memory and cognition.
Yeah.
It's probably me because, my thyroid's fine. I don't need sperm count. Reduce stress. I'm not a stressy type person. I'm lucky in that
Pisces,
way.
You go with the flow, Steve.
I go with the flow. Pisces is the best looking star sign.
Oh, so I heard. Well, second best, I think. That's what you say. What's the best looking Steve? Oh my God, you totally missed the boat on that one.
I know. It's crazy. But I am 54.
You are.
And so, getting up there in age. So I worry about my brain because, I'm pretty good at the moment, but you don't know how long it's going to last. And my grandmother died terribly of Alzheimer's. Decayed is the only way. You wouldn't say died. It just decayed for 10, 15 years. And it's still burned, it's still like, remember it. It's terrible to see her decline.
Yeah. And you have an amazing, incredible brain, Steve. So you want to preserve that.
At the moment I do. So I want to...
Get onto the withania.
Yeah.
KSM 66.
Well, the withania and the KSM 66 improved. What they found in this particular study was it improved memory, verbal paired associates. It helps you remember faces, helps you remember family pictures, logical memory, verbal paired associates, and all sorts of other things. So the treatment group also demonstrated a significantly greater improvement in executive function, sustained attention, and information processing speed as indicated by some charts and that sort of thing. So absolutely incredible for your brain. I mean, normally when you take, say, testosterone, so I go on a course of roids, really go nuts, then my brain will be adversely affected. I'll become aggro, whatever the case may be. But this helps my testosterone, my sperm, and my brain at the same time.
Yeah.
And, it helps me relax as well. But you know what else helps me do?
What, Steve?
Sleep.
Yeah, see, that's something a lot of people struggle with.
Absolutely remarkable for sleep.
Very good.
And you kind of think, oh, well, who needs sleep? Everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
Now, without sleep, you've got nothing. You try and stay awake. You got no REM. You will go literally nuts.
Yeah.
And you will. So what I love about this is that there was a study done, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, 2019, where they took basically, two groups of people, and the ashwagandha root basically induced sleep dramatically in these people at a dose of 300 milligrams extract of the KSM-66, which is a pretty good dose. And the study concluded by saying it could be potential use for improving sleep parameters in patients with insomnia and anxiety, but further large-scale trials needed. Of course there is. But isn't that interesting that if you can reduce someone's stress, they can probably sleep better. But this also improves their sleep while boosting your thyroid. Now, if you if you boost your thyroid at night, you'll be awake. Not this.
No.
This will boost your thyroid. That's the adaptogen.
Yeah.
Amazing, this just helps you regulate in all sorts of manners of life. I mean, isn't that incredible?
It is amazing. The other thing I love about Withania is it's a good blood builder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
erythropoietis.
So people who are quite depleted, obviously that helps with that, with fatigue as well, but it's very good for building blood in people. So that's another good thing I love about it. And immune regulation. So that paired with the Siberian, it's pretty punchy for your immune system, isn't it?
Oh, incredible for the immune system. And incredible for you. But, let's say you take it for your immune system. You've got some sort of post-viral thing. Great, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a side effect. Your testosterone will improve.
Yeah.
Your women will improve. I won't go into detail there, but we did it before. Helps you sleep. Helps you reduce anxiety. Helps your thyroid.
Yep.
Also is great for seniors.
It's really good for seniors, actually. Yeah. Yeah. For obviously, fatigue, they're depleted, their iron, their cognitive function. So it works on so many different systems. It's fantastic for elderly. Yeah, so someone like you, Steve, definitely be
great. Someone as old as me,
yeah, totally,
absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, I do take this stuff already.
I know, yeah.
But it really does help me, and incredible. It was a study done on elderly people, and they improved the mean sort of baseline brain score, we'll call it. It was a whole range of things. It went from 140 to 161.
That's great, isn't it?
That's a scale. So it went up dramatically. So I mean, it's great for an elderly person, especially like me, who's a male, or even women who are getting a bit older. And look, when I get older, when men get older, we start to lose male characteristics. Eventually we'll be on the blue pills. But this stuff can also help in that department too. Do you want to read the next study about male penises?
No, thanks.
Oh, shit. So I have to do this one.
Steve, did you just fill a whole thing of papers full of studies on sexual function?
Yep.
You just got them in there without me noticing.
Well, it's okay. I gave you this before the podcast.
I know, but I didn't actually read it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Steve.
All right. Well, I'll talk about PPs in this one.
All
okay.
Right,
this is a study, and it'll give you a bit of a clue where it's going. Effects of standardized root of ashwagandha, blah, 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 the KSM-66, on well-being and sexual performance in adult males, a randomized control trial. So what they found in this one was compared to the placebo, again, there was massive improvements in male functioning. Can I just leave it at that?
Yeah, let's leave it at that.
Everyone knows what that means?
Yes.
But also, you know what else improved?
What?
Testosterone levels. Dramatically improved in this particular study. So that is absolutely remarkable. And you want to know the P for this one? 0.0001 again.
Wow.
Huge.
That is,
the conclusion, it just says it all, so we don't have to talk about details, is the findings of studies support ashwagandha root extracts is an aphrodisiac effect on sexual well-being in adult men. The mechanism by which is due to an increase in serum testosterone. So thus ashwagandha root extract may be utilised to aid in the enhancement of male sexual function. Now, let's say I popped some Viagra. That might change my like libido.
No.
It just changes my functioning. It's a phosphodiesterase 5 inhibitor. So once you get an erection, it'll help you hold it. But this stuff boosts the erection.
The bit that helps create the erection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's good. And, you know, like the funny thing is the side effect of Viagra and those sort of things is it affects your brain. This is better. It's your brain.
Yeah, there goes.
The other brain.
Yeah, the
You know what I mean? The other part.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But women are not left behind, Nick.
No, they're not. Never.
Never. So a 2021 study in the Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecological Research found that ashwagandha, KSM 66, was great for perimenopause.
Oh, you beat me to it, Steve. I was
Go on,
waiting to
tell
get
us.
finished. I
Go.
don't know that study. I don't have the study, but I was going to say.
Go for it.
I was just going to say clinically, so I'm not looking at studies, this is very good postmenopausally.
Yeah.
Very good for hot flushes.
Yes.
Hot flushes.
Yep.
And that perimenopause phase,
Yep.
but also cycling women as well can help with regulating their cycle, but very good for that, for those hot flushes in postmenopausal women,
Absolutely it is.
late perimenopause. So I find really good results with that. So
Well, you would, because you know how much this increases. This increases serum estradiol significantly.
Does it?
Which is the potent estrogen. Stops flushes. P-value, 0.0001 again. I mean, it also reduces FSH and LH because that goes up when women are menopause. This drops it down.
Yeah.
So this is a great hormone builder.
Yes.
And I say that from if you're a man or a woman. So, I mean, this is
Yeah, it's great for
absolutely remarkable.
yeah, no, I use it, and it's traditionally, as you said, a male herb, but I use it. Obviously, the majority of my clients are female, so I use it for females predominantly.
Yeah.
I used to use this a lot for myself as well. I find it fantastic for her hormones and all that sort of thing. Anxiety is fantastic for anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really, really good.
So imagine if you're anxious person with mental health problems, who's got sexual dysfunction, male or female,
Yeah.
I don't care,
Yeah.
Who can't sleep and, has some sort of, mental health problems.
Yeah. And they've been unwell because their immune system is shot.
Immune system shot, and they've got stuffed
And they're
thyroid.
anemic.
Yep,
And they can't remember anything.
and their thyroid screwed.
And they're scarred screw, and they go to the gym and they just they can't do anything.
Yep,
And what else? They can't
burn
sleep.
fat.
Can't burn fat. Yeah.
Want some more cardiovascular fitness?
Yeah.
That's
That's all
everyone.
you need. That is everybody.
I mean, it sounds like we're trying to flog, but these are studies.
Well, they're actual legitimate studies, and I legitimately use this in clinic a lot. I mean, I used to do a lot more tinctures than I do these days, only because they're very expensive. But I used to use Withania a lot, and great products with the KSM 66 in it are the best. They are the best form of the Withania to
Costs
get.
a fortune, though. That's what
It does cost a fortune.
All right.
To with the raw material, not actually.
So I've got one more study here. This is, but seriously, this is good for every man and his dog.
Okay.
Right? It's just like when this last study is actually done on dogs.
Okay, so I was going to say, is it good for my dogs too?
It is good for your dog.
It is good for the dog.
Efficacy and safety of standardised ashwagandha, the KSM 66 root extract on reducing stress and anxiety in domestic dogs.
How do they know they're stressed? I guess you can see the stress and anxious dog.
They have
you can tell.
Yeah. They have what they call the UCCR test, which is to test the anxiety of dogs. And they gave them, and this is important, 15 milligrams per kilogram of body weight of the KSM 66. So how big's your dog?
So say an average dog's 30 kilos, roughly.
Really? That's a big dog.
Is it? Oh, I've always had big dogs. So
have you?
My dogs have always been about 50, 60 kilos.
Really? What sort of dogs?
Breed big dogs. I had a Rottweiler, and then I had a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
About to get another German Shepherd puppy.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
No, didn't I? Oh, we've built the fences. We're just on the waiting list for the puppy. So
Really?
I'll bring a photo in because they're the cutest dogs in the world. When I get it, that is. Yeah.
I used to have a Weimaraner.
Oh, they're cool dogs as well. The grey ones, aren't they?
Yeah. Grey ghosts with
they're
dopey
bit,
looking.
I was going to say they're a bit kind of on the spectrum, aren't they?
They are. I had a Dalmatian and a Weimaraner.
Oh, God, that's just a bad combination.
Yeah, they have the 5-star rating for dogs and this special thing about intelligence.
Yes.
The Weimaraner was 1. But the Dalmatian was a half star. It was the only one that was below 1.
Oh, no.
So I had the brains trust.
Oh, yeah, you got the bad ones. See, German Shepherd's the top in intelligence.
Right. No,
Just saying. No, you would have struggled.
Mine weren't at the bottom of the list. They were the bottom of the list.
They were the bottom. They were under the bottom.
Yeah, one was under the bottom.
Oh, that's funny.
So quite
That's
dopey, but beautiful dogs, you know. But I think
dogs.
let's take the big dog, 30 kilos. So 15 times that, it's 450 milligrams of.
That's not a lot at all, really, is it?
No. So that's what you'd give your German Shepherd when it has anxiety.
But mine won't have anxiety.
No,
let's just say that. But if you have an anxious dog, yeah. I can tell a funny story. Since the whole podcast has been a bit of a train wreck anyway. My mum.
Good on you, Nick. Way to flog the product. A bit of a train wreck already. Go on.
No,
you haven't cried
that's
this
not what I meant.
No, I know.
And half of it's probably going to be taken out anyway, so no one will know what I'm actually talking about.
Oh, we're leaving it all in. All your bit about.
We have to give people a laugh at some point.
Oh, Jesus.
My mum has guide dogs. My mum's blind, so she has guide dogs, and she went through about 4 guide dogs. They all had anxiety.
Really?
And one of them ran her in front of traffic. Another one freaked out and ran through a glass door. Didn't hurt himself. It was fine, everybody. And also with the traffic, didn't hurt her. But yeah, she had anxious guide dogs, so they had to all be returned. So maybe they needed some. That was supposed to be funny, and you look so serious.
I know. I'm just trying to think of your mum being trapped out of traffic. Not that funny.
My mum has a good sense of humour.
Must have. Must have. Getting driven through glass.
No, she didn't go through the glass. Just the dog. The dog was playing, and he had a freak out and back through the glass door. She didn't go through the glass door. That's
wow.
No.
But you asked a good question. How do you know if a dog's stressed? You can measure their cortisol to their creatinine ratios if you wanted to. Yeah, and of course they did that in the study, and it reduced the urine cortisol to creatinine ratios by a huge amount, the 0.0005 thing. So, and they also had a significant reduction in fear and anxiety domain, which is how to measure it compared to placebo, because they were given a placebo too. Some people just given a blank down thing. Also, significant reduction in pain severity and pain interference domain. So guarding, so when dogs guard with their pain, reduce that as well.
Oh, well, there you go.
So it really helps dogs. Now, I don't give veterinary advice, so please, if you want to give this to your dog, check with your vet.
Check with your vet. We're not veterinarians at all.
I didn't learn about dogs in This is a paper.
But there are natural, I don't know, what would you call them? Natural medicine practitioners for animals?
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, some of them are amazing too.
Yeah. I used to give herbs to my cat Flatface.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh. Things like, probably the green lip mussel.
Oh, Steve, you're reading my mind today.
Really?
I was just going to say is to give my German Shepherd green lip mussel extract for
the only reason I gave it to that is because I knew that was safe for cats.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you
go. If I'd given it a Panadol, it would have killed it.
I was just going to say, so no aspirin?
No aspirin. They're dangerous.
Don't give aspirin to a cat.
Well, paracetamol's incredibly toxic for cats for some reason.
More than aspirin, or is?
Yeah, I don't know. Aspirin's toxic for kids too. It can
it?
Yeah, Rye syndrome.
I never knew that. But people give aspirin to children.
You got to be careful with that.
Jeez.
Just if you're out there, please check.
Give aspirin to your children.
It's called Rye syndrome. It's a pretty rare syndrome, so you probably won't kill you.
And now you've scared all the parents out there.
I have.
Sure, it's fine.
It's written about. Yeah.
Anyway, we digress.
We digress.
For the 10th time.
But don't give dogs theobromine either.
No chocolate. No onion.
Onion's bad.
Yeah, there's a few other things actually. Yeah.
But they gave this to this, and it was well tolerated with no reported adverse effects. A 4-week study. So, talk to your vet before giving them any of this stuff. But gee, this is published in the Journal of Veterinary Behaviour.
There you go.
So it's got to be a vet thing. So, as I said, good for your, everyone, like thyroid, fat loss, anxiety, especially sleep, testosterone in men, estradiol in women, sexual function in men, sexual function in women. This extract, this KSM 66 stuff, is something you've got to get on.
Yeah, and in natural medicine, we look at withania as a tonic.
Yeah.
So, and a tonic just basically means for the full body system. Yeah. So it's good for everything, as you said. So
great for working
it is a
out.
Really good one. Yeah.
Great for working out. Great for going to sleep. Just regulating, being that adaptogen.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this, and could help your canine.
Could help your canine. This is an added bonus if you've got an anxious animal.
Anxious can. I know. I put that in there not because I'm a vet or anything, but just that I'm reporting the studies.
There you go.
Cool, eh?
Yeah, it's very cool. So that's I think we're pretty much done with it. I think adaptogens we can safely say amazing. Everyone should get onto them.
Yeah.
I like mixing my adaptogens too because some of them are a little bit different. They have different actions. So, but these two are great. We love them.
I love them.
Really good for so many different things as we've seen today.
Yep.
Hopefully we didn't for people turning off in the first 10 minutes when we went off track. But
was
it's a
that
bit
sort
of fun.
of
I don't know
on
what
track,
was in the apple you gave me, Steve, but we've all gone a bit sideways this afternoon.
Well, you've heard the story of Snow White.
Well, yeah, didn't the witch try to kill her?
Yeah, wasn't it Rohypnol in the apple or something? You put her to sleep or something? Is that right? Is that the am I remembering that?
I thought we were past. We nearly got to the end. Matt. Nearly. And I'm trying to wrap it up.
Didn't they put her to sleep or something and then a kiss woke her up? Is that the same story?
That's the same story. I don't know about Rohypnol, though. I didn't hear that part of it.
Something was in the apple knocking her out.
I think something was in your apple, Steve.
Yeah,
and funnily enough, you gave me one of your apples, so I think I'm seeing the problem. I think we need to wrap it up, Steve, before we completely get thrown off the air.
Yeah, we will anyway. Well, thank you for listening, and hopefully you listen all the way through.
Well, yeah.
And we'll see you all next week.
Yeah, see you guys.
See ya.